Hello, good morning students. Welcome back to the third lecture of science of class 10th of chapter number 15. Now in previous lecture we had seen that how this energy is transferred and what is this food chain and food web we have already studied. Now in this lecture we will study that how this energy flows in this environment or in this ecosystem. See, what is first this energy flow? Let's see that. Energy flow means energy is accumulated by the primary producer. You know, primary producer is nothing but plants. Okay, so this energy is produced by the plants in the form of food and is transferred through the food chain. We have discussed about the food chain. What is food chain? Who its home means it is interconnected to each other to different energy levels. So different energy levels, you know, top carnivores, herbivores, producer. So these are the different energy levels. So this phenomenon is called as energy flow. It is unidirectional. Unidirectional means this energy flow in a single direction. Okay, in one direction only. There is no recycling to the previous level. Means the second level food will be not available to the first level food. Okay, means if it is second level, then it will go to the third level, then fourth level. Here we will understand by the examples or by this diagram. So whenever energy is transformed from one form to another form, some energy is always lost. Means when energy is transferred from one form to another, some amount of energy is lost in different forms. So it can be understood in the following ways. Here we have taken a little here examples. Suppose at the base level, here sunlight is utilized by the plants. Here you can also say it is plants. It is utilized by the plants. Now plants are utilized by the herbivores. Herbivores are utilized by carnivores, and carnivores are utilized by top carnivores, and again these will be decomposed in the soil. So this is the energy flow. Means first the sunlight is utilized only by the plants, then plants are eaten by herbivores, then herbivores are eaten by carnivores, and carnivores are eaten by the top carnivores. So this is a process by which this energy flows in only a unidirectional, in a one direction. It cannot be revert back. It cannot be back in the previous level. Okay, so herbivores, if this plant has been consumed by the herbivores, it cannot be revert back to the producer, means cannot be given back to the plants. Then coming to the next here, the green plants, as I told, these green plants capture only about the 1% of the energy of the sunlight. Means whatever the sunlight is there, only 1% of that sunlight is utilized by the plants and they convert into food energy. Now the green plants are eaten by the primary consumers, I mean to say that herbivores. So due to this, a major amount of energy is lost as a heat. So major amount of energy is lost in the form of heat, and some amount goes into digestion. Means whatever the energy is taken by these organisms, the whole energy is not utilized. Means some of the energy, because you know also that some of the energy is utilized in digestion, some of the energy is utilized in doing some work, and some goes in growth and reproduction also, because in reproduction there is also need of energy, in growth there is also need of energy. So those energy is only obtained by those green plants. So an average, we can see an average of 10% of the energy of the food eaten by any organism is turned back into own body. Means they only consume 10% of the energy. Whatever they absorb, whatever they take energy, they only absorb 10% of 10% of the energy of the food utilized by those organism. Means that 10% is only stored in their body, okay, and is turned back into own body and made available for the next. Now this 10% is only utilized by the body and remains in the body now, and 10% is only this is available to the next energy level. So this is known as 10% law. This is also known as 10% law. Suppose if there is a plant, so first plant, suppose 300 joule or 3000 joule is there is energy. So energy only plant will use only 1% of it for making food. So 1% means 3000 of 1% means it is only 30 joule. Only 30 joule is utilized by the plant. Now this 30 joule will be only utilized by the green plants, okay, means this, and 30 in that 30, 10% will be only utilized by the green plants. So average, we can say 10% of the energy of the food is eaten by any organism and is turned back into own body and made available to the next energy level or next level of consumers. So this is called as 10% law. This is oftenly asked that explain 10% law. In this chapter it is very important, so you remember it. So therefore 10% can be taken as average value for the amount of organic matter that is present at each step. Means 10% is only present at each step in the food chain, okay, and reaches to the next trophic level. Similarly, only a little energy is available for the next level of consumers. So if it goes on increasing in the similar and reaches to the next level, so you can say that very small amount of energy is available to the next level of consumer. So if here plants utilizes only 30%, now 30% will be, in that 30% only 10% will be utilized by the plants. So 30 into 10%, you can imagine that it is only having 3 joule. So 3 joule will be utilized by these herbivores. And now next level, herbivores, then carnivores. Carnivores will utilize these 3, whatever was there, then 3 of 10%. 3 of 10% means it will be 0.3 joule will be available to the carnivores. So in this way, as you go step by step, as you go to the next trophic level, the energy goes on decreasing, okay. So very little amount of energy is available for the next level of consumers, and the loss of energy at each step is much more large. So it is very clear that flow of energy is unidirectional. Means once it goes to the herbivores, it cannot be returned back to the plants. If it goes to the carnivores, it cannot be returned back to the herbivores. So this is called unidirectional, and the energy that is captured by the plant does not revert back to the solar input. Means whatever is utilized, this energy is utilized by the plant, that is not revert back, that does not come back to in the form of solar input again, okay. So it is called as unidirectional. Now next topic is biomagnification, What is this biomagnification? You know that each and every day we are using fertilizers and we are using some insecticide, pesticides to protect our crops. So it is the phenomenon of progressive increase in the concentration of non-biodegradable toxicants in organism at each successive trophic level. Okay, and you know that if we use some insecticides and pesticides on plants to protect them, those insecticides and pesticides also goes to the next trophic level, means plants are eaten by the herbivores, then those chemicals goes in the next trophic level, means herbivores. Now herbivores are eaten by the carnivores, then it reaches to the carnivores, means this goes on increasing. So concentration of this non-biodegradable toxicant means a toxic substance, right? Very poisonous substance. It goes in each organism at each successive trophic level. So it reaches to the each trophic level. This phenomenon is known as biomagnification. Now what is the cause of the biomagnification? So as I told, that cause of the biomagnification, you know, that harmful in chemicals, pesticides like DDT, etc. These are sprinkled on crop to protect them from pest and disease. So these chemicals are either washed down into the soil or they just go into the water bodies. So you know that this, if goes into the water bodies, so it pollutes the water also, or if these are sprinkled on the plants, so those plants are utilized by the another kind of organisms, means herbivores. So how these reaches from the soil, these are absorbed by plants. So if these are washed from these plants, these goes into the soil. So you know these chemicals are absorbed by the plants through their roots and from water bodies also, and these are taken by aquatic plants. As I told, if this goes into the aquatic system, these aquatic organisms consume these chemicals, and this is why our food grains like wheat, rice, fruit, vegetables contains varying amount means different amount of pesticides residues. So we can say that due to this biomagnification, means these chemicals are stored in each and every trophic level. So in this way, these toxic chemicals enter into the food chain. So as these chemicals are non-biodegradable, they get accumulated in organism's body. As I told that we have already done non-biodegradable, means these chemicals cannot be decomposed by our body and some microorganisms. These, because it is inside the body, so cannot be decomposed by the hormones which is produced by our body. So it remains in our body and get accumulated means get deposited in our body. So now this concentration of this non-biodegradable substance deposited in our body, so the maximum level of concentration gets accumulated in human body, and this is because they occupy the topmost place in any food chain. So due to this, it is always advised that whenever we bring any kind of vegetables from the market, it must be washed properly, because nowadays to protect those crops, to protect those vegetables, fruits, flowers, we use a lot of toxic substance to protect those plants. So before consuming, we must wash those vegetables or fruits, okay, so that those chemicals, some amount of those chemicals can be washed by water. So these are the causes of the biomagnification. So I hope you might have understood. So biomagnification means increase in the concentration of the pesticides or chemicals in each and every trophic level. That is biomagnification. So coming to the next topic over, now human impact on the natural environment. What is the human impact? You know that each and every thing or human is utilizing. So this each and everything utilized by the human, and human is the main source of any kind of pollution on this surface of the earth. So we can say that human is only responsible for this kind of impact. Means human impact on environment. You know, humans are one integral part of the environment, and any change in the environment is only due to the human activities. So you know, various human activities also leads to different kinds of pollution, like in water pollution, soil pollution, air pollution. So air pollution is caused due to the human activities, because human activities nowadays, you know, to fulfill the requirement, human is now trying to install the industries, and they are using much more number of vehicles. So those vehicles release large amount of gases in our environment, and those gases are harmful for us. So in that, first one is the ozone depletion. So what is this ozone depletion? Let's see here. Ozone depletion, you know, this ozone is formed by the combination of, ozone is a molecule that is formed by the 3 atoms of oxygen and is deadly poison. It is a deadly poison and it is formed in the stratosphere. ये कहां पर है? स्ट्रेटोस्फीयर में है. मीन्स अर्थ से लगभग 20 से 30 किलोमीटर अबव अर्थ ये है. और ये लेयर जो है हमारे लिए बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि इसी लेयर में जो अल्ट्रावायलेट रेडिएशन आती है, अल्ट्रावायलेट रेडिएशन बाय द सन, वो इसमें एब्जॉर्ब्ड होता है पहले, एंड देन दिस आफ्टर फिल्टरिंग दिस अल्ट्रावायलेट रेडिएशन it comes down on the surface of the earth. So it's very important. So this ozone depletion layer, this is only found on the earth surface, means above the earth surface, that is 20 to 30 kilometer above earth. Formation of ozone in atmosphere. How this formation of ozone takes place in our atmosphere? You know, ozone at the higher levels of atmosphere is a product of UV radiation. So ozone is nothing but a UV radiance, and this is acting on O2. So this mostly UV radiation acts on O2 molecules. So the high energy UV radiations are there. So it split apart some molecular oxygen, means it splits the oxygen into free oxygen. तो ये हाई यूवी रेडिएशंस जो होते हैं, ऑक्सीजन के मॉलिक्यूल को स्प्लिट कर देता है, फ्री मॉलिक्यूल्स में बना देता है, यानी O में बना देता है. एंड दीज एटम्स आर वेरी रिएक्टिव एंड कंबाइन विथ मॉलिक्यूल ऑक्सीजन टू फॉर्म ओजोन. तो ये देखा यहां पर रिएक्शन में कि ये O2 मॉलिक्यूल है, यूवी रेडिएशंस जो है इसके ऊपर काम कर रहे हैं, इसको ब्रेक कर दिए O में. अब फिर ये एक सिंगल O जो है फिर से ऑक्सीजन के साथ में रिएक्ट करके, और ये बनाता है हमारा ओजोन लेयर. ये है ओजोन लेयर. तो देखा आपने कि ये कैसे जो यूवी रेडिएशन है पहले ऑक्सीजन के ऊपर काम करता है, O2 के ऊपर, इसको स्प्लिट करता है, स्प्लिट करने पर ऑक्सीजन बनाता है, फिर ये ऑक्सीजन O2 मॉलिक्यूल से रिएक्ट करता है तो बनाता है ओजोन लेयर. सो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट दिस. ओजोन लेयर इज वेरी पॉइजनस बट इट इज गुड फॉर अस because it absorbs all the ultra violet radiations that comes directly from the sun, and then it is filtered and then sent back on the earth surface. So how this ozone layer and its importance, what is ozone layer, how is this important to us, let's see this. तो ओजोन लेयर ये क्या होता है पहले देख लेते हैं. ओजोन लेयर जो है लेयर ऑफ एटमॉस्फेयर इन विच मोस्ट ऑफ द एटमॉस्फेयर ओजोन इज कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड. ये लेयर ऑफ एटमॉस्फेयर मीन्स वेयर मोस्ट ऑफ द atmosphere's ozone is concentrated, that is called as ozone layer. So you can say it is a layer of atmosphere where most of the atmosphere's ozone is concentrated in this layer. So that is called ozone layer. Now what is the impact, what is the importance of this ozone layer? As I told that due to the environmental pollution, human activity has increased and now increasing day by day for fulfilling their requirement. Means more number of factories are installed, more number of vehicles are is being driven. So these number of vehicles, increasing number of these industries leads to the ozone layer depletion. Okay. So that ozone layer has begun to deplete in the year 1980s. So in the 1980s, there was mainly due to increased use of the synthetic. This is only due to the increasing use of synthetic chemicals. So why this ozone layer depletion has occurred? Due to the increasing use of synthetic chemicals. As I told, we have done it here that there are some chemicals which are very, very harmful to our environment in depleting the ozone layer. That is chlorofluorocarbons. This chlorofluorocarbon is highly utilized in our refrigerator, fridges and AC. So as a coolant and in fire extinguishers also. So these are the main reason for depletion of the ozone layer. So as you know that CFC are very stable and they are found to persist in that atmosphere. So being stable, they do not degrade. So as I told, this CFC is very stable. This is stable. Means once this reaches to our atmosphere, it cannot be degraded. So you can say that CFC is very stable and they persist in our environment for a longer period of time and they do not degrade also easily. So they rises high up in the atmosphere. If it will be not decomposed by any kind of organism, so its concentration will be rising day by day. And this use of AC and freeze is much more in practice nowadays. So there is no any chance of decreasing this CFC. Okay, so this CFC is now increasing day by day, and this increase in CFC means these persist in our environment for a longer period of time. It is not decomposed by any kind of microorganisms. So in this way, in the atmosphere, UV radiation break down CFC molecules and release chlorine. Okay, तो यहाँ पर हम ज्यादा नहीं इसके बारे में डिस्कस करेंगे, बट ये हम देखेंगे कि CFC जो है ये इन्वायरमेंट में रहता है एंड इट रिमेन्स फॉर ए लॉन्गर पीरियड ऑफ टाइम बिकॉज इट इज नॉट डिकम्पोज्ड और डिग्रेडेड बाय एनी काइंड ऑफ माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स इन द environment. So here CFC in the atmosphere, UV radiation is there. So UV radiation is there, and this UV radiation especially this breakdown CFC, this breakdown CFC molecules and release here chlorine. So after breaking it, release chlorine, and this chlorine again reacts. Okay, this chlorine react with these atom again react with the ozone layer to dissociates ozone molecule into oxygen. So in this way we can say that these CFC is very harmful for us, for our environment. Okay, for our environment I mean to say that it is directly or indirectly to us. Okay, so here we are completing, almost we are on the verge of completing this chapter. One topic has been only left. This we will do in the next lecture. Thank you.